Welcome, Spright is coming. Will it be top tier? Will it be the best deck of Master Duel? Will it be as dominant as it was in the OCG? Will it be as good as it was in the TCG? We're going to get into all that, what to expect. I'm going to show you a basic combo and how to stop it and what they're going to do to you specifically. Now, we're going to have a quick $100 giveaway. Like, subscribe, comment on the video. We're going to pin a comment within a week, and then that's going to be the winner of the $100 giveaway. By the way, ignore anything that says Telegram. It's a common scam. They're trying to get your shipping info and have you pay for something they're not going to even ship you. It's not me. It's not any YouTuber. Just avoid it. Now, moving on, what is good? We're going to have a $3,000 tournament with Spright of top TCG players, top Master Duel players. They're all invited. Pro player role in the Discord has a free invite to this event. It's going to be one deck, 15 cards side. It's going to be nuts. And also, we're going to have a $10,000 card giveaway on February 15th. How can I do this? Well, we have a big sponsor, and if you participate in the sponsor by just showing up and being a viewer, we have global shipping, we pay, we're going to give you Starlight Rare cards. They're worth $300 to $400 to $500 cards each. Now, let's hop into why is Spright so good? And I'll also say a very good resource for Spright in addition to this video if you want to learn is the Open Master Duel Meta Discord. Discord.gg/Master Duel Meta. The Spright channels pop in. We have a Runic Spright, Tri-Brigade Spright, Evil Twin Spright, overall Spright, great pin messages, all that good stuff. So make sure you come on over and learn more from this after this video. Now, what made the deck so good in TCG and OCG? I would say Totally Awesome is a big part of that, of the performance you see here. The Totally Awesome was very easily summonable, and it had the effect to negate your opponent's card more than once in a turn, because you attribute itself to negate and steal a card, and then it would reborn itself back in the field with a Spright Elf, the Link, which we'll be talking about a bit, to then steal and negate again. And then you could just resummon it again next turn very easily. Now, thankfully, this is banned. Otherwise, I think it probably would have made tier 0 in Master Duel. Also, we have more hits on Spright. The Spright starter has been semi-limited. This is a very good one-card starting play, which now the consistency is going to be dropped a little bit. So where am I getting at with this? Is this going to be the best deck? Let's keep on investigating of how I think Spright's going to be played in Master Duel. What happened when people were not playing Totally Awesome? Was the deck still good? Yes. Even in TCG where this was not banned, some chose to not play it because they instead got Ronin Totem banned, which made the efficient Totally Awesome play not as viable, but still very good to make. There's a lot of people, don't get me wrong, a lot of people are still making this, but we'll explore builds where they chose to not play Totally Awesome because of Ronin Totem being banned. And that build's going to be very much applicable to Master Duel. I would say the main reason why Spright's a good deck is because of Gigantic Spright, among many things. I know, like, the whole deck's great. Gigantic Spright is nuts because so the main way to play this deck is you get 2 level 2 monsters on the field, and then you got your combos rolling. When you activate this effect, it's going to turn off Nibiru. That's it. Nibiru, your opponent cannot summon Nibiru because on resolution, you and your opponent can only summon level, rank, or link 2 monsters for the rest of the turn. And this will be summoning any level 2 from the deck. That's what makes the deck even more versatile. I will be showing you what cards you could summon. And a very good counter to this is going to be Ogre. Ogre does not negate. It destroys a monster after it activates its monster effect, or it could destroy a continuous spell or trap after it's already been face up and it activates. But for Gigantic Spright, it's pretty much a negate because on resolution, it detaches the material and not as a cost. So if it's destroyed after it activates, it never detached, and if you do detach, you summon, and you don't because the Ogre destroyed you. So that's going to be incredible. And the quick overview of Spright is the number 2. That's it. If there's a level 2 on the field, you could special summon any of the tiny sprites on the field from your hand. Blue will search for any Spright monster. Jet will search for any Spright spell or trap. As you can see, Jet limited to 1 in OCG. Starter limited to 1 in OCG. Totally Awesome banned. This deck's been getting slapped up. And then you have Carrot and Red. These are the negates. Carrot will be negating a spell or trap. Red will be negating a monster effect. An incredibly versatile deck. You also have attack boosting if you need that. Not as popularly used, but some people will be teching it, maybe even myself. So what is good beyond the Gigantic Spright? Well, let's talk about what you could summon with it. These are cards that you could summon. And by the way, the main ways to play Sprite's going to be Pure, Runic, Twin, and Tri-Brigade. So with the Gigantic Spright, if you did not make it with Blue and or Jet, you'll be summoning Blue and or Jet from the deck to then pop off, and Jet is going to make it so you could have a Spright Smashers. This is non-targeting banishment. Banish any card on the field. You trade, the Spright player will trade their own monster for any card you have on the field. This is nuts. So that's a very good line there if you did not make the Gigantic Spright with these cards. Another good card to summon from the deck will be Swap Frog. Swap Frog is comboed up with Ronin Totem. Swap Frog was the main card to summon when you had Totally Awesome, and it could still be summoned even though we don't have Totally Awesome, because Ronin Totem will summon itself from the graveyard as an extra body as you then reborn the Swap Frog with the Spright Elf to then combo further. Other cards you could summon with the Gigantic Spright will be a Maxi. You could summon Maxi from the deck, return it back to the hand with your Swap Frog. That's nuts. You could even keep it simple. Summon Hyperia or Capshell just to draw one. Why play both? Well, let's say you normal summon Hyperia, you draw one. You special summon Capshell from the deck, now you draw two in one turn. Another card you could summon with the Gigantic Spright will be a Tri-Brigade Kit. Then now you have searchable kit, summonable from if any level 2 monster together gets a kit on the field, which through the Tri-Brigade combos will set a Revolt, and then Revolt will summon the Omen during the opponent's turn, non-targeting anything banished, by the way, and also a big follow-up. What else is summonable? I'll say the Kitten. The Kitten's a good card to summon because it could spin a monster your opponent controls back to the hand, and what you'll be spinning is probably a Lava Golem. A cool combo is they give you Lava Golem. I don't know if you are are you role-playing as the Spright player or the opponent in this situation? I'm Spright, I give you Lava Golem, and then I summon a Kitten from the deck. I then give myself Lava Golem back to my hand, and then I can resummon it back on your field. That is nuts. And this says you can't normal summon or set, so just don't normal summon. And with the Spright card, I should say the Runic cards, they help you summon a level 2 monster to make it so you could not have to normal summon, that is, so you can get your Spright cards out very easily. And now, let's talk about what else is going to be good about this deck. The other main part of this deck being so good is the Spright Elf. Anything it points to is untargetable, and normally when you exceed or link, you're minusing 1, right? It's going to be 2 or more monsters. The Gigantic Spright summons a monster from the deck. There you go, you're not minusing. The Elf summons a monster from the graveyard. There you go, you're not minusing. And this is going to be comboed up with a card like Ibli. I'll show you that combo in 2 seconds. Now, let's tell you about the meta of TCG, how it was diverse. You see that? And then, boom, Spright attacked alongside Tearlament. If Tearlament did not exist, maybe Spright would have been the full thing. And this is what the deck looks like. I'll tell you what's really good about this deck, because you may be thinking, wow, the first turn play is not even that good. Even when they had Totally Awesome, I mean, that was pretty damn good. But it's going to be a bit weaker now. Look at all the hand traps. Look at all the non-Spright cards you could play to make the deck even more consistent and resilient. And I'll tell you this, that if you're not able to disrupt the Gigantic Spright with an Ogre, let's say you just negate it with an Impermanence, they're still going to make a decent end field. And after this got restricted with the Ronin Totem, we then went to the next YCS, which this deck's going to be very much applicable to Master Duel. You're going to pretty much copy this deck card for card. At least many people will initially. And that deck looks like this. Joshua Schmidt, Runic Spright. You can copy this card for card. What the heck? Look at this. There's nothing missing. We have all these cards. The only thing is that the Spright starter semi-limited, and we're going to definitely put Max C into this because it's a level 2 that allows us to special summon our Sprites alongside it. Max C is a starter in this deck, and as I was talking about, the Kitten and the Lava Golem play. Now, from this deck, there's something crazy that I think will be played, which will be the Mannequin Cat. You make a Mannequin Cat with any level 2 monsters, 2 of them, And if your opponent special summons a monster, you target that monster, and then you summon a monster of the same type or attribute from your deck, hand, or grave. What I think is going to be popular is going to be Thunder King Rayo. I think I'll be main decking this. So if you play the Spright mirror match, they summon a Thunder, boom, there's a Thunder King Rayo, which disallows them from searching. And if they link or exceed, this will negate the summon. That's insane. If we look at the tier list, that's going to mess up a deck like Mathmech. Mathmech right here, summoning any of these light monsters. You can look at the best Mathmech decks here or a good sample one. If they special summon the Circular, they're now going to be triggering my Mannequin Cat to then get a Thunder King Rayo. No search for you. And I will also negate the Alan Burt summon. That's disgusting. And for a deck like the branded Despia, I'm going to very easily summon an Ibly onto their side of the field. Ibly's going to make it so they can't special summon except Link Summon. They don't play Links. And you could be like, oh, well, Dkayed, just play Lingaribo. Okay. You summon Lingaribo, and then what? You can't brand a fusion. You just turned off your branded fusion. You what, mate? Now, let's go into some gameplay of what's good. All right, and I think I'm going to have Gia mark the chapters. Let me know if you even use chapters of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the videos. So why do I have a Maxi here? Just to show you it could help alongside the starter. I will show you a one-card combo play right after this, but I just want to show you what I think is going to be common with the deck. So we have the Spright starter, which could be one card. It could summon the blue. Blue on special summon, either from the hand or the deck. Grave does not matter. We'll be searching for a monster. And then, because we have a level 2 on the field, we're going to special summon the Spright Jet. And this will be giving us our non-targeting monster or back row removal. The Spright Smashers, that is insane. So let's set that up for next turn. And we're on summon number 3. We're going into summon number 4. This is where we're getting close to getting Nibiru'd, right? Wrong. Gigantic Spright. Turn off Nibiru. You cannot Nibiru me. This is where we have many options here to draw or set up with the Swap Frog. We could summon Spright Blue. If we didn't do that already, we could set up a monster negate, a spell and trap card negate, or I'm going to go Ibly because I think this will be popular. Ibly is here. And now if I even have Sprites in my hand, even though I have a level 2, I can't special summon them. So if we're playing the mirror match, they can't special summon their Sprites. They got to normal summon them. Now let's link her off since I could only link right now. Get Lincoln. And that's going to trigger the Ibly to come forth onto their fields. And the Jet during either player's turn will be able to summon a monster from our graveyard. And I'm going to tell you where this is going. We're going to have the Ibly be outed, then we're going to out the out. So just like this, we're going to end on a Masquerena. Now the Masquerena and the Elf, I'm going to show you some craziness in the next game. We're just going to focus on Ibly here. This is a common, easy play. So let's switch on over to our opponent now. And let's see what they're going to do. The instinct here is going to be to switch the Ibly into attack, which is a good instinct, or it's going to be to summon the Lingaribo that we were talking about. Let's put Lingaribo up on the screen real quick so you know what's good. But if they Lingaribo or attack, I could give them Ibly back again. Remember, the Spright Elf is able to resummon a monster from the graveyard, so let's see what that looks like. Let's go to the battle phase. It'll ask me if I want to activate. Within the main phase, these two are only activatable. And then we're going to get swinging. Go in. Ibly dies. Then main phase 2, I will tell you that the opponent has turn player priority to perform the first action right now. And it better be a good one, because we are going to immediately, to whatever they do, we're going to respond. So let's say they set a card like a fool. They done goofed. We are now going to immediately get the Ibly on the opponent's field. So if you want to do it within one chain, we could do Masquerena, Chain Link 1, Elf, Chain Link 2, summon the Ibly from the graveyard, and then we're going to link off with it right away. We could go into Unicorn. We can go into an Apollo USA if you want. So if we have a card in our hand, we could spin a card in the fields. So let's go into Unicorn, pretending that we're doing that. And then the Ibly is now back on their field, main phase 2. This is going to be very annoying. This is disgusting. Now, let me show you even crazier plays in addition to this. So hopefully you're taking notes of the Masquerena plays with the Ibly and the Mannequin Cat summoning a Thunder King Rayo from the deck. So let's go to the deck manager. This is just a test. This is not a build I'm telling you to play. I'm just throwing in random cards here. So let's do a 1-card combo and see what's good. All right. Spright starter is going to start us off with the blue, grabbing us the Jet. And then Jet could grab another starter if we want to summon a monster during the opponent's turn, which could be a monster negate or a spell and trap card negate. Or it could grab a Smashers, which will be the non-targeting banishment. I do prefer to have that. So let's set that up there. And then we're going to whip out the gigantic Spright. And as I said, normally we're going to have another monster to summon, a level 2, a max C, or a runic card in the field. But what if we don't have that? What if we just have hand traps that's not max C? So this is where it could be good to summon the Swap Frog. Swap Frog on summon will send a frog from the deck to the graveyard, and it's not once per turn, so we're going to abuse that it's not once per turn. Ronin Totem's waiting for another frog in the graveyard to banish to summon itself onto the field. We're going to make the Elf, and I'm going to show you some insanity. Get ready for this. So the Elf is now going to be activating to reborn the Swap Frog to abuse that it is not once per turn. It's going to be sending a frog from the deck to the graveyard. And then we can now Ronin Totem. Ronin Totem, banish the frog, summon itself. This is where we would totally awesome if it weren't banned. But instead, we're going to make a Masquerena or the Mannequin Cat. You could do either. And then, because we did Masquerena, the materials are back in the graveyard. Ronin Totem's also not a hard once per turn. We're going to be banishing from the graveyard, summoning onto the field. You can make it untargetable if you want. That'd be weird, but let's do it anyway to be funny. Now these 2 cards are untargetable. I could use the Smashers to banish the Ronin Totem plus any card in the field. And then I'm going to show you what's good with the Masquerena, the most common way to use the Masquerena. Get ready, get ready. They're going to summon. This UI's a little slow. And this is where things get wild. We have so many options here. I could go in a Unicorn, obviously. I could go into Apollo USA, 3 material on the field, and get a 4th material for 4 material Apollo USA. I would want to resolve the Spright Elf first to maybe trigger the Jet or the blue to search for an additional follow-up, then get that 4 material or 3 with the back row monsters. What's going to be common is going to be Avermax. Avermax is going to be completely untargetable and indestructible by card effects, and if you battle into it, it gains attack equal to the monster it's attacking into it if it's special summoned. And that's going to be the most common card that's summoned off of the Masquerena. That's when I believe so. And you can also Underworld Goddess, link off with your opponent's field like a Kaiju. If you want to deal with the Avermax, the Borlo Dragon could be a good out. It states that, so it's also untargetable, cannot be targeted, will also be indestructible by card effects, but if this attacks your opponent's Avermax or any monster, you could steal the Avermax. So that's actually insane. But what gets really nasty is the topologic monsters. We have the Bomber Dragon and the Zeroboros, and because of the Spright Elf, we could trigger their effect. The Bomber Dragon and the topologic Zeroboros, they both state that if a monster is summoned to where a link monster is pointing, they activate. And this could activate more than once per turn. So if your opponent's just doing their own link climbing plays, they're going to trigger the Bomber Dragon to wipe up all monsters in the main monster zones. And what's crazier than wiping up all monsters in the main monster zones is the Zeroboros banishing the entire field, including your own cards. Back row monster, everything banished, but then it comes back next turn and has 200 attack for each banished card. This, I will say, will be common, but I think the Avermax will be more common. So let's do this play. Let's say I wanted to do it right away. So let's make sure we do this without messing up anything. So we're going to respond to, let's say they're doing something really scary. So Elf and Masquerena. We want Elf to be the last thing to resolve, and then we want Masquerena to be before that. So we're going to do Elf Effect, Chain Link 1, and then we're going to target the Jet. We're going to Chain Link 2, Masquerena. People will be doing this. Masquerena, let's resolve it. Now, commonly it will go into Avermax, as I've been repeating a million times, but we're going to go into Zeroboros. Zeroboros is supposed to be hard to trigger, but it's not here. We have Zeroboros, and then we're going to summon to where the Zeroboros is pointing to. And that's going to trigger the mandatory effect to wipe the entire field, banish everything, and we're going to have a follow-up. So we're going to be searching for our Spright starter for the Spright starter play. Obviously, in this example, we didn't even use Smashers, which you would want to do first. And then get ready for it to come back out. And it's now going to be how large? It is going to be... boom, 4,200 attack, and we have the whole starter into blue, into Jet, Wombo combo, and that's going to be pretty much what to expect from this deck. the versatility of Masquerina, possibly abusing Mannequin Cat. If they have enough extensions, they could summon this. The downside of this is it's 2 level 2 dark monsters, so you're going to need Jet and the blue on the field in order to use this. It'll be a monster negate, which will be pretty good. And there you go. That's the quick overview of what makes Spright good. And I think a lot of people's impression will be, wow, this is kind of underwhelming. Well, I think that a deck like Sword Soul is also underwhelming on the surface, but the resilience of the deck, it being able to play through interruptions, put up a decent board after being interrupted, and being able to play so many hand traps and back row that you want to squeeze into the deck, that's what's going to make Spright a top tier deck. And I will say, I don't think it will be tier 0, definitely not, but I would say it is a very good contender for being the best deck. I think it's going to be top 2, if not best deck. Maybe the Soul tier 1. Maybe Mathmech will do similarly how good this deck will do. I think Sprite's going to be very, very good, though. But again, the starters at 2. The Totally Awesome is completely banned. And we'll see what happens off of that. I'll repeat again that this won a YCS without Totally Awesome. So like, the deck's perfectly fine without it. And I've been enjoying that deck a lot. I've been playing it a ton. So don't forget to join the giveaway, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you like this long form video of no editing. It's raw and it's kind of off the cuff. So I'm sure maybe there's a few moments where I was speaking a bit of nonsense like I'm doing right now. Thank you very much. I'll be streaming next week with the new Spright deck, and we're going to have the tournament next week. $3,000 tournament, $10,000 card giveaway. We are out.